I wanted to make another video about losing my stillborn. I know that I have made a video kind of telling about it and stuff, but I feel like that was like kind of a depressing, like really dark video, and I didn't want that. Like, I don't want it to be like that. I'm not like that. I'm really happy. I'm okay with everything. And so I didn't want it to be so dark and depressing as it was. So I might repeat myself. It's probably, it might be hard for some of you to hear or see the things I'm showing you. So I'm just letting you know now that things are going to be shown, and things might be said that upset you. It's not my, like, that's not what I'm trying to do, but I'm just putting it out there. Also, no negative comments. Comments will be disabled and I will take this video down. I'm trying to show people that you can get through such a tragic time, and I don't want anybody to say anything negative. Really, if you say something negative, you are a cold person anyway, and I feel sorry for you. So, with that being said, let's get on. So, I feel like I didn't say it too much in detail. I'll just start from the beginning. I was 24 weeks pregnant with Braden, and he was moving fine. Sorry, my son's over there, so if you see me like do something, he's over there. He was moving fine. He was very active, and he liked to roll a lot. It was a healthy pregnancy. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I had just moved, and I was supposed to see my doctor on a Tuesday, and that Saturday is when I found out. I'd lived here 5 days, and so what happened, like what made me go in, is he was always really active, and I noticed that he wasn't very active. And so I kind of just took that into consideration, because I know that sometimes babies just aren't as active as they are one day. They're probably tired. So I know that sometimes that does happen. So the first day I kind of just like kept an eye on it, didn't think too much about it. By the second day, it was like, okay, he's not moving still. I was kind of on the go that day. I had gone to my parents', which is 2 hours away. I had stuff going on that day. So, and like, since it was still pretty early, since I was only 24 weeks, I didn't feel every single little move. So, if I was like up and moving and walking and stuff, I didn't always feel him, which is why it wasn't such a concern until it was like, okay, I've been sitting in the car for 2 hours, I'm not feeling anything still. I would try to do things like, I actually didn't know as much as I did when I was pregnant with my daughter, of like how to get her to move and stuff like that to make sure everything's okay. So I went in, and obviously I just said that the baby wasn't moving, and or I wasn't feeling the baby move. So I got in right away. They took me to the labor and delivery and just checked me, and they looked for the heartbeat. One nurse couldn't find it. They looked for another nurse came in, she couldn't find it. And so I think it took like 3 or so nurses to try to look for the heartbeat, and nobody could find it. Which that then pretty much told me. And then, so they came in saying, well, sometimes the heartbeats are hard to get, which with him, his heartbeat was always kind of hard to get. It wasn't like you put the heart machine on his, on my stomach and hear it right away, like with my son, and pretty much with my daughter. It wasn't like that with Braden. He always was kind of a pain to get to. So I was concerned, but I wasn't so concerned. I got a lot more concerned when it took multiple people and still nothing was happening. So then they said they have to do a ultrasound to see what's going on. They come in, the doctor does the ultrasound instead of the ultrasound technician. There was a doctor that did it, and he didn't say anything. I couldn't really see anything on there because it was kind of like a handheld machine, so it's not like I could read like the huge ultrasound machine. So I didn't think too much of it, but I knew that I was in trouble by then when he said it's an older machine, so he's gonna get the ultrasound technician to come in with the big machine that's a lot more high tech to see how if she can find anything or what's going on, which that then is a nice way of putting pretty much to confirm that there was no heartbeat. I mean, obviously, if there's a heartbeat, you don't have this many people working on you, and it's not that hard to find it. Like, an ultrasound will find it if the baby's heartbeat's there. Whether it's an old machine or not, if there's something in there, obviously they're going to see. So the lady came in with the big machine, and that's when I saw that there was no heartbeat. She went over the heartbeat thing and it was flat. So the doctor was so awesome. I went home, gathered my thoughts, came back that next day, and they got me right into a room, and I delivered him in the middle of the night that next day. And they were so awesome with it. Like, I am so happy with the hospital I went to. I really don't know how I would have handled it with any other hospital. And it's weird too, also because I had just had a doctor's appointment like 3 or 4 days before I found this out, because I had gone to my old doctor and then I moved here, and it was 5 days or I had lived here 5 days, and then like a few days later is when I was going to see my new doctor. So I was up on all of my appointments. I had just been seen less than a week ago, and everything was completely fine. And then this happens. So I was like, well, like, why couldn't you see that? Well, what ended up happening is Braden wrapped himself, he tied his umbilical cord at his stomach. The nurse said that the tissue in his stomach was dead before he was. So pretty much he cut his oxygen off to himself and tangled it at his belly button. And then the umbilical cord obviously is his oxygen, his life, obviously, pretty much. And he cut that. He twisted it. And so no oxygen is getting in, nothing. So he couldn't breathe, obviously. Which kind of upset me, because it's like, so he was like pretty much suffocating. It wasn't like it just happened. It was like over time he's cutting himself off. But they were so awesome. They catered to me as much as they could. I remember one girl was a social worker there, and she was younger, and she came in, and I was handling it okay at that time. Like, there were random times where I would just be done, but she came in and I was fine when she came in, and then once she like opened her mouth, I started bawling, and I just felt like she wasn't real. I felt like she was just there, like she didn't care. She was stiff. Everybody else was so nice and so supportive and so amazing. And she was just like, yeah, like, why are you crying? She just seemed kind of not even impressed with like this situation. And she definitely wasn't somebody I needed around at that time. So we asked for nobody else to come in. There was a preacher that wanted to come in and pray for us or pray with us. And I was like, I just can't. Like, I am falling apart. I can't have people coming in, like, reminding me and, like, putting it in my face. Like, I felt like it was, like, a constant, like, thing. Like, sometimes I just didn't want to talk about it. And, so they were awesome. Nobody else came in except for the nurses, obviously. And, so what I have to show you is somebody at the hospital makes things for babies that are stillborn. And, she made this little, or whoever it is, I don't know if it's a she or we or what, made this box. And it's folded, it's tied behind, so I can't fold it all the way. And it's a paper mache box, and they make these crochet blankets. And then these are his little hand prints. And then these are his little feet prints. He was 1.5 pounds. And so that came with all his little baggy stuff. Let's see, do I have it with me? Yeah, this came with all of this in it. This is what he was wearing in the pictures they took of him. This little hat, and then there was another hat. This was the bracelet that was on him, or on me, because his was just like literally this big. So this was everything they put him in that somebody makes for this situation. And they take pictures of them. I have a CD of pictures of him, excuse me, that they made. And nobody asked, they just did it because that's what they do. And this is a picture that my husband and I took of him. Let's see, I don't know if you can see. There we go. And so that's the picture of him, which I love that picture of him. He actually looks a lot like my son, who's 4. And then, when my daughter was born, one of my friends came over and she gave me this. And it says Guardian Angel, and it has a little angel. And I love this thing. Like, I seriously, I love that. And then these are his ashes. Just a little tiny thing. Nothing too big. He's just a little tiny in there. So, I mean, I can't even really tell you, like, signs to watch out for because there were none. I was completely healthy. He was completely healthy. It's just something that happened. And this doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you. It is somewhat common, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you. I feel like a lot of people who know me now are like afraid to be pregnant because it's like, well, this happened to Ashley, and like, it's always in the back of their mind, which I totally understand, because when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was aware of everything, and every time I even felt that she wasn't even maybe moving, then I would go in. Like, it was, and they told me to. They were like, if you know your body, if you feel like something isn't right, come in. Even if everything's perfect, oh well. Like, that's what they're there for, and your insurance pays for it. Like, that's why you have insurance. Go in, and don't be afraid. Don't think that, well, I went in yesterday, and like, oh well. Go in there every single day and have them do a physical or whatever you want, because things can happen. What would happen with Braden couldn't have been prevented. There was no way that they could have stopped him, from twisting it. Obviously, that's just the way he moved. I don't know. It's not anything that is always, sorry, that is always going to happen. But I just um felt like I handled it pretty well. It's definitely not something I take lightly, but it's something that I don't dwell on. He's always a part of our life. He is always something that's thought of and brought up, but it's not like, I don't know. The doctor prescribed me Xanax when I had him. And he's like, "Do you need anything for depression?" And he prescribed me that. And I was like, Like, I came home and dumped it down the toilet because I have seen too many interventions to even get close to taking Xanax. I had another kid to take care of. I couldn't be a zombie and I couldn't sit there and feel sorry for myself. And so I think that's what helped me get through is like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not this person that sits there and feels sorry for themselves and why me? Why did this happen to me? I had every single test done. Braden had every test done. We were all completely healthy. It's just something that happened. Um, and then I got pregnant with my daughter, it's almost like it happened for a reason so I could have her. Even though it's a horrible reason because I would take him too. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to share with you guys like a little bit more without me like being upset the whole time and kind of show you pictures of like what he looked like and like kind of what they did for me. I know every hospital's probably different, but this hospital was amazing. I don't really want to say it on here, but I delivered my daughter there and they were just as amazing. There were nurses there that remembered me from when I had Braden that were like so excited that I was there in a better situation. It's just, I love it. It definitely makes a difference of who your doctor is and where you're delivering because I felt so comfortable and I hadn't even been seen there yet. Like she wasn't even my doctor yet, and everything like that happened. So I was so impressed. But that's just kind of my story, my like kind of coping with it. I just kind of wanted to I'm going to leave that other video up, but I kind of wanted to do a re-video to like talk a little bit more, not being so upset and kind of show you everything like I said. So I hope this helps some of you. Pregnancy is such an amazing thing. Don't be scared because you hear horror stories. There's horror stories about everything. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you what happened to me. And I have 2 kids, so I have 2 kids and 1 angel kid, so it's not like it happens all the time, I promise. But if you're scared, then go in. It's not a big deal. That's what the doctors are there for. So I hope this helped, I don't know, maybe helped somebody. It's just something that I wanted to talk about. So I guess I will talk to you guys later. Bye!